arrives in Tiananmen Square in Beijing to declare the formation of the People's Republic of China. He is already surrounded by several layers of tight security, a reflection of his paranoia about his personal safety. Madame Lo Fu, a friend of many years, goes to see him and his wife, Jian Qing, on the eve of the declaration.
He was in high spirits. When I asked about his health, Jiang Qing said he was all right, except he would tremble when he saw strangers. At first, I didn't understand, and I said, "But he looks all right today." Then Mao interrupted with a smile. "But you are an old friend, not a stranger."
When Mao appears at the Tiananmen Gate of the Forbidden City, it is his first appearance in front of a large crowd. This unique colour film with original sound has only recently been found in the archives. As Mao declares the founding of the People's Republic of China, an ecstatic crowd, over 100,000 strong, roars its approval. A female witness to the scene describes how she felt.
I was carried away by the indescribable emotion. I saw the figures of so many gallant women among the hundreds of thousands of peasants, workers, and soldiers. Joyfully, with thumping hearts, they stood before Chairman Mao for his inspection. Was this not truly the symbol of the Chinese people? Did not the waves of red flags, like the sea, symbolize new China's brilliant future?
As Mao's People's Liberation Army wins more and more territory in China, he orders senior Communist Party officials into the newly conquered areas to begin the ideological cleansing of his people. His favorite enforcer is Kang Sheng, whose tactics are notoriously ruthless. Mao asks him to set a benchmark for others to follow in how to impose his communist ideology. Mao has isolated China from the world as he makes it undergo a brutal revolution. Mao's son, An Ning, is placed under Kang Sheng's tutelage so that he can understand how revolutionary change has to happen. An Ning is 27 years old and a Second World War veteran, having fought for the Soviet Red Army on the Eastern Front against Nazi Germany. He keeps a secret diary.
Denunciations began. All the masses were told to raise their weapons and shout over and over again, "Kill, kill, kill." The rally ended with several people beaten to death. Some of the activists recruited were thugs and dregs, former puppets of the Japanese invaders.
A young party official witnesses many of these denunciations.
4 people were hanging from a rope by their wrists, watched by every man, woman, and child in the village. One of them was a female landlord. In fact, she hadn't got much land. They asked her where she had hidden the grain. I knew she didn't have any grain, but they insisted and beat her. Her blouse was ripped off. She had just had a baby, and her milk was dripping. The baby was crying and crawling on the ground, trying to lick up the milk. People lowered their heads and couldn't bear to look, but were forced to watch. If they refused, they would also be punished.
Kang Sheng sets fearsome guidelines for the future.
There must be abuse. Educate the peasants to show no mercy. There will be death. But let's not be afraid of death.
Mao is unyielding in his determination to cleanse China of its past.
The landlords, rich peasants, bourgeoisie, intellectuals. These are not easily abolished. That is why in Hunan alone, 100,000 people were challenged. 10,000 were arrested. 1,000 executed. The landlords will become peasants. The capitalists will be workers. The bourgeoisie can enter the communes, but they must be made to wear their bourgeois hats so that the people can see them.
It is the beginning of a reign of terror that will last for many years in Mao's new China. This remarkable 16mm colour film is shot by US military intelligence officer Stanley Dara in post-war China. Posing as left-wing sympathisers from their base in London, he travels through China with his wife, Susan, where Dara captures these unique images in secret. The material later becomes part of the classified CIA collection. It has only recently been declassified and released into the US National Archives in Washington. As Mao consolidates his power in Beijing, he bases his dream of transforming China on the Soviet model of enforced collectivization and state ownership. But typically, he is impatient.
According to the Soviet model, social classes were abolished after 16 years. We must be more ambitious than that. We must begin a campaign of ruthless struggle and merciless blows. We must move to communist ownership in the countryside and in the factories. That is the public ownership of all eating, clothing, and housing. The Soviet Union still encourages the construction of houses by private individuals. We will eliminate private housing in the future.
Aware that China is predominantly an impoverished